What's up, YouTubers? Mr. Complete Random here, and it is time for another anime podcast. I decided to change things up a little bit, bring in a new voice, new person, and we're going to introduce all of these podcast co hosts right now. You have Star,
Hey.
you have Ricky,
Hell yeah.
and you have Gabe, who is the newbie.
What's up, people?
We're
Glad to
gonna
be here.
we're gonna be talking about starter anime, and I figured, you know what, starter anime, that's actually a really good topic to get into because everybody likes to get other people into anime. It's like crack. You just get addicted like right away. And
Oh,
it's the greatest thing ever. Greatest thing to happen in my life ever is anime. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's how I feel.
Well, what's crack already? Crack is very different in Ireland, by the way. Crack means fun.
crack means
best
crack
and first things.
crack means it's not an addiction, it's just a way of life.
Aye.
That's true. There you go.
So Star, why don't you start us off with one of your suggestions of starter anime?
So, one that I kind of suggest to a lot of people is Gurren Lagann.
Okay.
Mainly because it's got that mix of action and adventure and that hypeness that makes you really excited to see what like the next episode is going to be. And it's got the tone of romance in it, but it's not as strong as you might think it would be. And overall the story is kind of very compelling and makes you want to know what's out there continuously after the show's actually over.
How
So
long
that's
does it run for? How long of an episode? How many episodes?
um so when I was watching it, they were probably about 24 minutes per episode. I honestly can't remember how many episodes there are. I think there's
It's
actually I
26.
don't know.
Yeah,
Is it
it's 20.
46? Okay.
It's 26.
Oh, is it 26? So yeah, but like it, it's one of those satisfying animes that where like the when you once you get to the ending you're completely satisfied, but you still have that craving to like continue watching more of something with the same tone. And because it has a lot of different types of genres in it, you can span out to different areas of anime. So that'd be my first one.
I definitely agree with your choice. Not one of the first anime that I have watched, but I've watched it. It's a good choice. Very good choice. Ricky, how about you?
It's kind of funny now because earlier I was thinking I was actually going to say Gurren Lagann as well, like Cher said. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I'm going to recommend an anime to the average person. And while Gurren Lagann is amazing, like the characters are very endearing. It's a roller coaster of a show, but it really is an otaku show. Like it's made for if you love anime, you love giant robots, you love silly moments that make no sense but are so epic you don't care. So I was
Hmm.
thinking like the average person who's my age, which is 25, has probably never seen an anime before. Is probably your average run of the mill adult who like goes out in the weekend, works in the weekend or works during the weekday, and probably watches your typical drama shows like Sopranos and Game of Thrones and all them. So something to kind of suck them in, kind of deceptively get them in. I think would be Paranoia Agent because it's very grounded. A lot of people are kind of thrown off by like the kind of kiddie styles of something that's of shonen or their overly cutesy styles of moe. I'm non-anime fans, but Paranoia Agent they nearly look like real Japanese people, so I don't think the art style is too off-putting for newcomers. And the tone and the story as well. It's a mystery basically, a mystery series, and that would be compelling for people. Like the average boring adult. Like I think. Not saying Paranoia Agent is boring, not at all, but like it's a great show to suck them in.
Right.
I haven't even seen that one, so
Oh wow,
I know.
It's good. It's good. That's actually a really good choice.
yeah, it's amazing.
Hmm.
It's short as well. It's only 13 episodes, so like they could finish it in about 3 or 4 days easily.
Yeah, they
I'm gonna add
the
that to
the
my list real quick.
the short anime are not too bad, which is nice. I like short
And was
animes.
made by a critically acclaimed director, Satoshi Kon, and you could tell him like, oh, the lad who made it, Satoshi Kon, he highly influenced directors like Darren Aronofsky in Hollywood, and a lot of people are familiar with like Hollywood stuff, so they might be more kind of like, it might be good, it's a little more familiarity. You get me, like,
Hmm.
Gabe, how about you?
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to drop a bit of a bombshell. I don't know how you guys feel about this show, but I know it's a very controversial show in the anime community. But and I'm not recommending it necessarily because I think it's the greatest anime ever, but specifically because I think it's good for bringing newcomers in, and that is a show, Sword Art Online. And
oh,
so yes, now
Lord.
I know. Don't worry. I recognize that the show is not that great, but let me explain. So
Go ahead.
first off, Sword Art Online, as not like even though it's not that great, it is still probably a big influence on current anime as it is. And I think if someone wants to get into anime, it has to be more recent. It has to be a representative of what recent anime is right now, because it's definitely different than it was, say, 10, 15 years ago. Um, and so I think Sword Art Online represents the shonen's current how the shonen genre is currently, and it's also not too anime to scare someone off per se, um, and it captures you in, especially with the first arc, which is you know at least decent. The rest of it is not that great, but whatever. But I think that
Yeah.
yeah, um, but yeah, I think Sword Art Online does a good job of like getting you hyped for anime. Um, and so I think that's why personally Sword Art Online would be a good starter anime because I've had friends who started with that and they watch anime now. So like it's worked in real life. So um, as well as with myself actually because Sword Art Online was the reason I got into anime. So
There you go. That's
Jesus,
that's
yeah,
sorry.
it's usually how it works. Usually how it works. For
yeah.
me, I have a few. Okay. Everybody asks me on Twitter all the time. I get it minimally once, twice a day. Whether I get followers for the day or not, all the time. What is a good anime to watch? Oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just getting into anime. What anime should I get into, or what anime should I start with? Very complex question. A lot of people try to expect just one answer, whatever. I came up with a few. One of them, which we're all doing one right now, so one of them I thought had definitely a good story, enough length where it wasn't too much of a length to scare people off, a good genre to introduce people into to where they can branch off just like what Star said, and on top of it is mainstream to where you can have other people within the community be able to communicate to this newcomer about this anime, and that was Soul Eater. I thought Soul Eater had that nice first person fit where they're just getting into anime. They want a nice anime to start with. It's what, 50 some episodes if you don't count Soul Eater not. Episodes are long enough where they're not these short little episodes and they're not super long, and A lot of people like Soul Eater. I really haven't found many people who have not liked Soul Eater. And
Hmm.
to get into an anime like that, you're getting into a nice, welcoming community. It's not like a controversial anime where some people either love it or hate it. Soul Eater is one where I really haven't found many people to hate it or kind of go, I don't know. I don't really like it.
That's a good point.
To me, you have a lot of likable characters that are they're very diverse. I have to do a full analysis on all these characters in Soul Eater, but for me, looking at it from an outside perspective, I see that Death a Kid, he's got all of these different OCD obsessiveness to him. I know OCD and stuff, but he goes full on nuts over it. Or you go to, Black Star, and he's an idiot, but people love him. And then you have Soul Evans, who is kind of a neutral. He's kind of an in-between character between those two perspectives, those two sides of the spectrum. And of course, you got plenty of female characters in the anime as well. But to me,
Hmm.
I felt it was a nice anime to go ahead and start off with. And now that we've all talked about one anime each, I figured now would be a good time to talk about maybe one of our first anime that got us into it. Since many of us are different ages, we live in different areas, and maybe the way that we started up anime versus somebody else now that's going to start up anime, might have experienced. For me, at least, I started with Toonami. Plain and simple. Started with Toonami back in the 90s, and that's how a lot of people started off with getting into anime, but, you guys could all be different, so tell everybody who's listening how you guys started up with anime.
Who are we starting with? Okay, well, so my first anime that I ever saw, I don't know if anybody else had this channel back in the day, but it was an actual TV channel on cable called Anime Network.
Yep.
And they used to show like a ton of different random animes like at different times. Like they never showed them consecutively. It would just be an episode from a bunch of different ones. So the first anime I ever actually witnessed was ironically Sailor Moon.
There you go.
Would have never guessed.
And
Would have never guessed.
yeah, right. that was so long ago, and then it was from there because, like, of course, like I'm a female, and I'm like, oh, it's a magical girl, and she transforms into this superhero. Like, of course, I was gonna be captivated. And when I saw that they were only gonna show one episode on this TV show network, I was so captured by it as like this 13-year-old girl. I was like, no, I have to find where this is. Like, I need to watch more. And I actually ended up convincing my family to buy me sadly, the VHSs.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
Did you?
made by Deke.
You got into Sailor Moon, which I'm sure got you into other anime.
Hmm.
Do you look back now and go, wow, there's a lot of controversy with Sailor Moon, and there's a lot of different interesting things that revolve around Sailor Moon?
Oh, absolutely. Like
Like
there's
the whole
so many.
they're not cousins, okay? They're not cousins,
Yeah,
right?
they're not cousins.
And
Like,
and
they
and
make
she's
you
not a
believe
she.
that.
And she's not a she. So
Yeah, they make you believe that. But then when you actually get older and you realize, oh, it's actually a dude that transforms into a woman. Oh, okay, I got it now.
Yup. Not only that, does it surprise you? Looking back, you were young and just seeing this cartoon-like show that many guys were into Sailor Moon. Does it surprise you?
Actually, no. Mainly because when I actually first started watching it, I actually went to school and like none of the other girls that I knew had ever heard of it. And I'm just like, oh, you gotta watch it. It's like amazing. And it's gonna make you like want to be Sailor Moon forever. And I did have like a lot of guy friends who were like, oh yeah, I've seen that. I actually have this VHS tape. But I'm like, why aren't you at my house? Like, why didn't you let me borrow it?
Hey, I used
And
to uh get home from school, run downstairs, literally like run downstairs, turn on the television, and maybe like 5 minutes later, that's when the Toonami would start up, and they had Sailor Moon as like the first show of the 2 hour, 2.5 hour segment, and I would one of the things I would do, which I talked to some of my friends, my guy friends, and they did the same thing. I was like, we're all weird. We would take our socks and we would take our socks and we would pull them up as if they're like the long boots for like Sailor Moon, and then
Yeah,
we would start we would start watching. That's what we would do. We're just, I don't know, we're weird.
that's
well,
pretty.
because like when ironically, I actually started being more like trying to be more like some of the Sailor Moon characters as I got older.
Mm.
Um, Mainly because like one of my favorite characters, she's very minimal, but it's Wicked Lady,
Okay.
and she was only in like maybe 5 or 6 episodes. But I literally went out and spent like hundreds of dollars to dye my hair pink, and I've been growing my hair out so that I can just do her hair.
There you go. Uh, so what about you, Ricky? What was some that you got into, or one that you got into to start up with anime?
Well, as a kid, I just kind of watched all the other things that were popular at the time, like at the late 90s, early 2000s, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Beyblades, and this really weird one, Flint the Time Detective, which, brownie points if you heard of that one. But the real one that really got me into anime now was it was on this channel called CNX, which debuted on my 10th birthday, and it was basically like a Toonami Adult Swim channel. It didn't last very long, but it had Cowboy Bebop on, and I was immediately enamored at that. And Cowboy Bebop's got hundreds and hundreds of people into anime, like especially around my generation. And yeah, I was 10 years old. I should have not been watching it, but I was anyway. I think watched it like 50 million times.
You
Still, even to this day, like 15 years later, or not, yeah, 15 years later. Oh my god.
I know we're old, right? We're old.
Yeah.
I'm still 20. I'm still a little young. I'm still in college.
Hey,
Oh,
Ricky, you got a
yeah.
fan. Somebody loves your accent.
Really, do it.
Yes, they do. You got a
Fucking hell.
fan.
I gotta say, your accent is pretty sweet.
It's weird. It's one of the worst Irish accents you can have, like the Midlands. It's terrible.
Us
That's
Americans, we
awesome.
don't care. We like foreign accents. We're good.
Ah, that's great.
Because all we got is Yiddish, so
Yeah, we either got redneck or Boston. That's it. Where you park the car at the harbor.
You got Minnesota, don't you? Hello, I'm from Minnesota.
Uh,
Surfer dudes as well in California. Well, like,
but Ricky, going
yeah.
going to your stuff
Oh yeah.
with the anime that we had available back then. Do you think
Yeah.
that if you told your parents now about the anime and what was in the anime, how much cursing and violence and sexual suggestion scenes and all that other stuff that went on, that they would like kill you?
Well, I was very, very lucky to have very oblivious parents, and they'd see that, like, Cowboy Bebop as, oh, that's a kid's show. South Park, that's a kid's show. Nice, that's a kid's show. Ah, yeah. So I'd be there buying all these I get my folks like, oh, can you get this for my pocket money on my birthday? Not a bother, like. I would have a big dirty 18 or 15's rating on it, and yeah. Oh, if they found out now, they'd probably go mad.
If my parents knew what I watched way back when I was young, I would be dead. I mean, I would be dead.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Bro, my dad let me see a rated R movie when I was 5. Like, my dad bought me Grand Theft Auto when I was 5. Like, they don't care.
Well, okay. I mean,
Wow.
some parents were very lenient. When I was young,
Yeah.
my dad and I were playing, violent video games together. On the PlayStation 1. But,
Oof.
yeah, I know. I'm old. Relax.
I was lucky. My parents taught all computer games
PS1
for
is
kids
great,
too.
though.
Look, nobody in this room is as old as I am, so don't even.
25 and a half.
Oof.
That's your age,
21,
Star.
30. Turning 30 in April.
Oh, happy birthday.
I'm turning 21 in April.
Hey,
Oh, happy
okay.
birthday.
Oh.
Double birthday.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're
Double sesh.
you're only just slight bit older than me. Okay, I'm 27, so you could just relax a little bit. Okay,
Whew.
you're not old. You're not old. It's okay.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry.
I'm aging with wisdom. It's great.
There you go. It's the best way to look at it. Now, Gabe, you were saying about Sword Art Online was one of the first that you got into. How'd you end up watching it? Where'd you watch it?
Okay. So I do have to rephrase that. Sword Art Online was the reason I got into anime, and so
Okay.
that was because my best friend from high school was watching it, and she told me that I should watch it. So she finally convinced me one day to watch it, and then I binge watched it and finished the first season in like 2 days. But like I did watch all the Tsunami stuff and all that as well. Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. And the first anime I ever watched in my life, I remember I was 4 years old. It was called Hamtaro.
Oh yeah, Hamtaro. That's a good anime too.
Yeah.
Hell
It's
yeah!
good
Hey,
stuff.
hey, you
I
name
go
you
on
name
the
an
Hamtaro
anime.
mechanics. Hamtaro's savage.
Yeah.
You name an anime without being way too obscure, I've probably seen it. Especially if it's from the '90s, turn of the millennium, the 2000s or so. Trust me, I've seen it.
Good. Yeah, no. I mean, like for me, that was when I was little. So like, and since I was little, I kind of just meshed with all the other cartoons I was watching. So I didn't really see any difference between that and the regular cartoons from America. So like, it wasn't until recently. Was it 2015, 2014? I can't remember. I think it was 2014. Yeah, that was when first I watched Attack on Titan. But that didn't really get me into anime because I watched that and then it wasn't until like 4 months later when I watched Sword Art Online, and then that's what got me into anime. And then I just watched like a good 20 shows within like 2 months or so. So that's where that started. And that was like senior year of high school. So that wasn't too long ago.
And do you
That's when I
think?
really
And do you think for you, Gabe, that it's a lot easier for someone around your age or somebody that's younger that's going to start getting into anime to, get into it because you have services like Crunchyroll, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon's got something going on with anime now and all these different things.
Oh, yeah.
Then you have all
I'm
these
extremely lucky.
Then you have all these distribution companies that send out these DVDs like they're just going out of style. I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
Right.
no, like it's like the internet, the streaming services change everything. So that's like I can easily go anywhere and watch it. Basically any anime I want at any point. Um, and there's even those pirate websites, but like I don't use those anymore because I try to be as safe as possible.
Hey, I mean, Star and I, we had to go ahead and enjoy the internet as long as we could until our parents probably called down and said, "Hey, get off the internet. We want to use the phone." So
Exactly.
Yes.
that was our way of using the internet, and you know,
Anime is definitely cheaper now. No such thing as buying one DVD, €25 for one DVD with 3 episodes on it anymore.
hold on. One does not simply buy one anime DVD. That's,
No.
yeah.
I will tell you this. Like, I don't know if anybody remembers Blockbuster.
Yep.
We had extra.
Yeah. I mean, I was there when Blockbuster was there. Okay, I'm not that young.
Yes, you
Well,
are.
You'd be surprised how many people don't know who Blockbuster is. But I used to live down the street from Blockbuster, and they would have a new anime in every week. And
That's crazy.
they knew me by name. Like, the second I walked into, like, it's in the corner, just go. We've already saved it for you. We hid it and everything. And
I had
That's quality.
I
That's
had
good stuff.
that is
a
customer service.
Yes,
I
it
had
is.
I had a strip mall, maybe like 5 minutes from my house. Everything is like super far from my house because I live farmland area galore. It's miles to get anywhere. But there was this one strip mall that had a video rental store, and then maybe about 15 miles was like the closest Blockbuster. So that was, that video rental store was nice because you could go there, you could pick up, some decent movies and stuff. They also had the video games, and they had some anime. And then when they closed down, they were selling everything. And unfortunately, people found out that they had like anime there, and then there's a few people in my area that love anime. They hit up that store and like raided the place. The only thing left, which I still have, is Blood or Blood Plus. You guys heard of that one? It's a small niche kind of anime. It's really good. I picked up that one. Somebody bought the freaking Sailor Moon DVD set. I was like, you suck. I was like, you suck. But
Yeah, like when the Blockbuster shut down by me, they had called me and they're like, "Hey, we remember you like Sailor Moon, and we're gonna be shutting down in like a week. Did you want to come and buy all three of the Sailor Moon movies?" And I was like, "I'm outside already when you said that."
That's bad.
So-
That's bad.
That's incredible customer service. Dang. You don't get that from Netflix. Like
When you go there every single day for like 8 years straight, they start to figure things out.
I went to Blockbuster so often. They recognized me all the time too. They were like, "Wait, you just rented that one? Yeah, I want to watch it again. You have to do it. You have to give it back in what, like 3 days or so? You only had like a few days to give it back, right? It was like a week or like 3 days or 5 days or so. I don't know. I forget.
yeah.
It was a while ago, but I would be like, "Oh, I love this movie," and I would go to Blockbuster, and I'd be like, "All right, I'm returning it," and then I just waited at the counter, which was embarrassing at the time, but now I think about it, I think it's more hilarious. So I drop it through the little chute, and then I would come around the counter, and I'd be like, "I want to rent it again," and then they're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yep." So here's my card. Boom, done. And I would just go right out. But yeah, yeah, those were good old times.
Yeah. And about the Sailor Moon thing too, like I grew up in the South over here in Georgia, and so I feel like that was I never watched it back then because I feel like that since more conservative area people were like, oh, you don't watch girl shows or anything, so I never watched Sailor Moon because I felt like my friends would make fun of me if I watched a show about girls.
And
And
now,
now like magical girl.
go ahead.
Yeah, now the magical girl genre is like one of my favorite genres.
And surprising enough, there's a big shift with what guys will get into versus what girls will get into. And so many of my buddies, if I say Golden Girls, they're like, "Oh my god, I love it." Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually
Yeah, there's a legend.
Hey, all of them are legends. And Betty
I know
White,
more guys that have seen Pretty Cure than girls. Like the whole Pretty Cure series. So like the whole gender idea is completely out the door because it's
Yeah.
like it's a normality now.
exactly. And that I just wanted to quick mention that because I feel that when you want to get into anime, don't just look at, oh, it looks like a girly kind of anime, or it looks like a male like fighting war basketball or sports, don't look at it that way. Look at it as, do you like swimming, or do you like tennis, or do you like ninjas, or do you like fighting, or what's the thing that you're into? And then
Or lolly.
or lolly.
Wow.
Gotta go with the lowly. Gotta go with the lowly. Nothing wrong with that at all. But let's get into round 2 picks for what we would suggest for
Oh, thank God.
getting into anime.
I get to redeem myself.
There
Go
you
ahead, Star.
Okay. So when I was considering my list, I was really trying to think of animes that could branch off in genre-wise, to give people like an option. So I really put a lot of thought into what animes had multiple genres. And the second one I came up with was Escaflowne. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you right now, I absolutely cannot stand Gundam animes. I can't. Like, I've
Gundam?
seen them, and I can't stand them. So when someone suggested to me Escaflowne, I saw the Gundam, and I was like, I'm going to hate this. And
Dude,
I
my roommate would hate you. I'm sorry, but keep going.
hey, to each his own.
Yeah, he has a ton of Gundam figurines, but keep going.
But as soon as I watched Escaflowne, I was completely thrown back by the entire story, the characters, their backgrounds, how it went from like 1 second it's like this mysterious setting to all of a sudden there's action, and then there's the adventure, there's the romance, there's just so much in this that it could easily be said. The movie's terrible, by the way. Don't see the movie.
Anime movies are always pretty bad, but keep going.
But it was just one of those ones that I was like, I could totally see myself telling someone to watch this, and they would have different genre options when they actually finished it if they wanted to continue. They're like, oh, I love the romance aspect of this anime. I want to see something more like that. And it does benefit from the fact that Kirby Morrow is the voice actor, so gotta give props to that. If you don't know who Kirby Morrow is, he voiced Moroku in Inuyasha.
Oh, there you go.
And so did Kelly Sheridan, who was the voice of Sango, and in Escaflowne, she's one of the main characters. So
there you go.
that's it.
Got that nice mix in there.
Yeah.
How about you, Ricky? What's your second pick?
Before I go on to my thing, can I just ask Star one little quick question there? You grew up with Sailor Moon, so you've obviously seen like the Deke edit of that, growing up. Have you ever seen a Deke edit of Escaflowne?
I don't think so.
And as you know, like editing a show like Escaflowne is a little harder than editing a show like Sailor Moon for young children. So that was a very interesting thing. I think only like 6 episodes of it even aired.
Of Escaflowne, or?
Yeah, but that's something for you to YouTube after the show. The Deke edit Oh, I think it's Deke. Yeah, the Deke edited of Escaflowne that they made for very young children.
Huh.
Yes.
But my second pick for the show, I mean, for to recommend to someone, would be a show that was king last decade, and kings for good reason. The Melancholy of Haruki Suzumiya.
Oh
Because
my
like
god.
Oh god.
Oh my
Not
god.
like this.
Go ahead.
It's brilliant because
Go ahead.
oh gee, sorry. Because like I was saying, like talking to the average you know, mid-20s adults, and they're like, "Oh, watch this show, a high school yoke," and they're like, "No, I'm not watching a thing about high schools and mini skirts and all this stuff." We're like, "No, just give it 2 episodes and your mind will change." But yeah, because it is a show that it's one of the shows that got me away from action shows. Because before I'd only watch action things, but Melancholy of Haruki Suzumiya really broadened my range. Like, there's a lot of things I would have never watched if I didn't check that out.
She's
Just because, like, I was like, oh, it's high school yoke. I'm too cool for that. But no, it's amazing. Like, it really subverts what you think. Like,
she's a freaking devil.
But like the Endless Eight, really?
he's good.
The Endless Eight, Ricky? Come on.
Well, yeah, okay. The Endless Eight, just get over
No,
that.
I don't
Your
want there
IQ
for you
obviously is
to
high
joke
enough to
that.
get the Endless Eight. Only true
Oh,
Rick and
no.
Morty fans understand the Endless Eight.
Oh my god.
Look, I dropped
Is it
I
sad
dropped
that like I knew at some point the Melancholy of Haruhi was going to be brought up? Like I just knew.
You won't.
about that show. I just try my best to avoid remembering that show because I have a very strong opinion about that show.
Okay, well, what's your choice?
Mine?
Your redemption choice.
Oh god. Well, actually, it's a show that came out this year. It's Little Witch Academia.
Okay, redeem.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
redeem. There you
But
go.
that actually is got into my top 5, which show hasn't done in a while for me. And that show is just like, it's just so well written. It's like just hard. There's not many flaws in that show. It's so well written. It's such a good story. The characters are fantastic, and it's such a fun show. But it also manages to go a bit dark in the end. And like it's also it also really reminds you a lot of like the Harry Potter world and stuff like that. And I feel like for people who are into anime, that aspect of it will really get them into that show, and into anime in general, because it really does, get you into that world of, magic and witches and wizards and all that. And I love it. It's such a good show, and it's available on Netflix too, so it's easily available for people and stuff. So that's definitely would be my second recommendation.
And there you go. And me, I figured I'm going to just mention a few, and then I'll get into my second choice as like the main thing I'm going to talk about. If you guys want to delve in really hard into a long anime where you just start getting into it and then you kind of get addicted, start watching One Piece. It's one of the longest anime out there, but it's long for a reason, and there's a big cult following for a reason. A lot of people like it. So that's one of the choices. Another choice I've suggested to people was Tokyo Ghoul. Newer anime. It's not super duper long, and it's more on the gore, horror type genre, but a lot of people like that stuff.
I got strong opinions about that show too.
And, not everybody's into the happy, lovey-dovey kind of anime, but that's just, where I feel, some people can go to. But
people go through.
Yeah, people go through a whole bunch of different choices and stuff. It's ridiculous. But my choice, which is way relatively new. It's not like brand spanking new, like it just came out, but it's new within the past. I think it came out maybe a few years ago. And Ricky definitely knows this one. I'm sure you guys know it. But Ricky, I know you know this one, okay? We're gonna play like a quick little game. What is the name of the anime where the girl is top of her class. She is extremely beautiful and
Oh.
extremely good with sports. But when she comes home, she's a completely different person.
Oh no.
Right.
No.
Uh-oh.
You're choosing all the shows I hate right now.
How can you hate the Nugget?
Cola? Yes?
Cola.
Which
Cola
is what I'm
Rose,
drinking right
Emo.
now, by the way. I'm drinking
Oh my
cola.
God.
And I'm eating potato chips.
I was actually thinking about Umaru as well myself earlier on there.
Yeah, so the anime is called Himoto Umaru-chan. And it's a great anime. Trust me, if you want to laugh hysterically by the cuteness of it, by the funny, happenings, by the, you get a smile out of it. I haven't found one person yet that just was like, I hate this so much, and they were just sour
Really?
face.
Really?
Because I
My
find it very
roommate
polarizing.
absolutely-
Because like
my
you
roommate-
either love the laziness and all the silliness, or you just think she's a little spoiled bitch who deserves to be thrown out a window. But I love the
But-
Yeah.
But
There's
with-
definitely that side.
But with her, think about it. She does sports, so it's not like she's just inactive, and she's really good at them. She is the top of her class. She can't get any higher.
That's
She
the worst.
she scores perfect on her tests, right? And she is beautiful, right? She even has friends, so it's not like she's just antisocial. It's just when she goes home, she's like, what do I have to study for? What do I, done. I watch internet, I eat potato chips and drink cola, read the newest manga, play, video games and vegetable out.
The only thing she's not the best at is best girl, and that goes to TSF.
No, I don't like her at all.
Oh, TSF's the best.
Why do you like her?
Because she's so insane, she's so full of energy, and she looks so funny.
And she's an idiot when she plays tennis because she collides into freaking walls all the time.
In season 2, she's so much better. They're giving her the screen time they deserve so far.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, that's
It's TSF.
that's definitely an anime that I would recommend if you want to laugh, if you want something that's not way too long and overbearing, because I think the first season's only like, 12 episodes?
It's
And-
13 episodes and 2 OVMAs, and the second season's currently going on.
Right, and currently going on. So it's not like, oh my god, I gotta watch like 50, 100 episodes, something like that. Although there are very, very good anime that are in the 100 to 150 range. Right? I think there's plenty of those type of anime out there that are not way too long. They're not like 200, 500 episode, but they're, a little over 100. Like Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha's a bunch of episodes, right? It's like, what, 80, 90 episodes? It's right up in there, right?
Not too expensive too, right?
Yeah, it's pretty high up there.
All these anime that are good classics are right around in the 100 episode range, but you don't want to start off somebody with an extremely long one and go, all right, good luck. One Piece. One Piece I suggest for the one who's daring and who wants to get into a really big mainstream one, and they just want to, stick to one for now.
The one who will live to be 500 years old.
Yeah, One Piece is gonna go on forever, I think. I don't think they're gonna end it anytime soon.
It got cancelled after The Simpsons and SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I mean, it's also back to Amaru-chan.
Oh,
The thing
yeah.
about Amaru-chan is literally my sister in real life. So, like,
She's my girlfriend,
why I
but I
don't like
love
this.
this Trump too.
Is
like
your sister's really like that?
she is like obviously not like that bad, but like she can be. Trust me.
Your sister,
I'm the older brother.
your sister just comes home and lazes around and pretty much needs somebody else to make sure that she does the necessity stuff like eat and sleep and.
Yes.
And how old's your sister?
She's 18.
That's funny.
It's it's annoying. I love her, but man.
So can I, so I won't talk about it, but can I throw a suggestion anime out there?
Sure.
Yes.
Azumanga Daioh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Also don't know what that is.
Catch up.
I'm sorry.
Nichio before
I started like 2 years ago.
It's
Just
another.
wanted to throw that out there.
It's another good choice. Now, last thing I wanted to get into, real quick, before we end this podcast, is now that we have technology readily available, you have iPads and laptops and cell phones, then you have your Blu-rays, which you can just watch on a gaming system or television or whatever. You have all these methods to watch anime. Would you suggest to somebody to stream it, to watch it like on a DVD or something, or how would you suggest to somebody the method in which to watch the anime? And the second part to the question is, would you suggest to them, remember that they're just starting to get into the anime or into anime in general, would you suggest watching dub or sub?
Oh God. We've gotten into that argument now. Oh no.
But hold on. When you're thinking about sub versus dub, think about you don't want to turn away the person that is probably going to get into anime. And one of the arguments that people go ahead and say with sub versus dub is dub, you don't have to pay attention to reading all the time. You just can focus on what's going on in the actual action, and that's it. And that might be something that might deter somebody from getting into anime because they're like, oh, I got to read subtitles all the time. That might be something you would suggest, or you might go, oh, you get past that. So what do you guys think about all that?
Who wants to go first?
And go ahead.
I think if I watch subs like 90% of the time. I think only if the dub is an absolute deal breaker. Like, I always prefer the subs like 90% of the time, I said, but if the dub is a deal breaker or I cut something out, like in Card Captors, I tell them, I usually say the best version, but like, I'm not going to be all elitist and like, oh, you watch dub, oh, you play, oh.
Well, I think I agree with sub because, if you're gonna get into anime, and most dubs are pretty bad, you have to get used to reading, from a different language. And I feel like the sub you get, more of the cultural part of immersion part of it. That makes you feel like you're watching something that's different, which is something I like about anime.
Unless.
So, like, and so, I feel like the sub does that better than the dub. And like you said, some dubs are like, you can't ignore, like, FMA's dubs or, Dragon Ball Z or, stuff like that. But, yeah, for the most part, I'd say subs as well.
I think...
Don't use Dragon Ball Z as a reference. That was terrible.
Okay, well, I grew up with Dragon Ball Z dubs. And I don't really like an old ladies being Goku, but, whatever.
I think that when it comes to sub, there's a lot of mistranslation because I feel that they put less work or less effort into doing a sub translation, taking the
Mhm.
original language that's being spoken and then putting subtitles into the language that the person wants to read versus, oh, now we gotta do a translation and then we need to speak it. I think there's less um, effort put into just the sub translation and then into the dub work. And
Mhm.
just another quick thing, I think that honestly, there are some times or some instances where the sub voices are more annoying or cringeworthy than the dub.
Yes.
And
That is true.
the best example that is the newest one out there, and it's kind of I'm pushing through it so that way I could do a
Black
fair
Clover.
a fair review is Black Clover. Yes. Uh, yep, Black Clover.
I already knew the second you said it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that.
Well, I already talked about it on my anime. I was like, oh my god, Asta's voice. I was like, worse than Luffy
Bruh.
or worse than Naruto.
Who made that decision?
Uh, I don't know, but
I
people
want
are
you to
saying
yell as annoyingly as possible every time you speak.
that the dub is better. So now I'm thinking, oh, do I just switch from sub to dub now, or do I just stick with the sub? And I'm gonna stick
You
with the
should switch
sub, but
Oh.
I'm gonna be a trooper. I'm gonna stick with it. We're gonna see what happens.
I mean, I'm not even watching the show anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, you dropped it, or you
I,
just?
I gave up after the first 10 minutes. I'm like, yeah, nope.
What about you, Star? What do you suggest to somebody who's just getting into anime, and do you suggest them watching original with subs, or do you think that it might be easier for them to just start with dub and then get into sub?
Well, see, that's where like I have like a conflict with it because I don't watch either. I watch Raw.
Oh, holy.
Wow.
We got a real one over here.
Someone speaks the Nipponese.
I'm half well, I'm half Japanese, so
Oh.
Oh, well, that would do it.
so usually I kind of want to say it depends on the person because if like you guys had mentioned, if someone feels uncomfortable saying with it by saying, like, oh, well, I don't want to read while I'm trying to watch the show because then I don't see the, what's actually going on, then yeah, of course I'm going to suggest dub. But for someone who wants to get more immersed with like subtitles, which me personally, um, I've watched subtitled anime and there's always like wrong words, wrong terminology,
Yep,
um, it's not subbed correctly
it's
or
funny.
whatever.
It's funny.
Like I've seen one where like there was a subtitled one. I can't remember what it was, but it was like it said, "I love to beat my dead fish," and I was like, "Wait, that's not what he said."
No, he said something like, I will now pleasure myself with this fish."
Yes,
There's that
and
one.
that was
Oh,
yeah.
And then there's
Uh,
another one where it's like, I can't die if I'm already dead.
yeah.
All these.
So
In
like
fairness,
and
they rarely happen anymore now.
and like I don't know if
Yeah. Because they're more official now.
Yeah.
yeah.
You've less
So
fans and you've more professionals doing it, like.
so it's really hard for me to like tell someone, "Hey, watch it dubbed or subbed," because like I get that question a lot. Like, "Hey, should I? I'm gonna watch I don't know Inuyasha. Should I watch the subbed version or should I watch the dubbed version?" Personally, I preferred the dubbed version just because I like Richard Dean Cox and Kirby Morrow and Monica Story and everything. Um, and they all sound like chipmunks in the subbed version.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of
Like, mind you, Inuyasha was still voiced by a male, but it was a very feminine male.
Mm.
And the voice just did not go with the face, so it just weirded me out. So thank God for Richard Ian Cox. As far as like the first question before this all started on our comments, if I would have them stream it or buy a DVD, if it's somebody who's getting introduced, I would honestly tell them to stream, just because like if it's not something that they're interested in, they don't have to go back to it.
Right.
And like usually people, when if they do get introduced to it, they see it from a stream and they're gonna be like, oh well, I'm now really immersed with this. They'll go out and they'll buy DVDs, or they'll go out and buy the merchandise. That's just how I would see it as, because like I can't tell someone, hey, go buy this, and if you don't like it, well then you're out of your money.
No, you can, and then that's where the crack addiction starts. Then they just like, oh my god, I gotta buy more.
Right. But like you know, like I said, it depends on the person you're suggesting it to, because like I could suggest someone to watch Clannad, and they go out and buy the DVD, and they're like, well, I don't like this, and it wasn't my thing, and now I have this DVD that I have no idea what I'm gonna do with.
Just give it to you.
Do you know how many copies I have? Like, really?
There are a lot of distributors, a lot of anime distributors that are getting really smart now. They're coming up with different packages or different sets to, if somebody wants to get into anime or get into a specific anime, they can get a few episodes or like a small little taste, and it's a cheap price. Like it could be maybe like a few bucks, and then if they really like it, then that's when they buy the full set or the deluxe edition or whatever it might be. I've seen a lot of those recently.
Or even doing just the 14-day trial version with Crunchyroll or Neon Alley.
Right, any of those. And there's some other subscription services that have been coming out recently that are also...
Amazon, double paywall.
Yeah, Amazon or...
I pay for it.
Yeah. I mean, I have this new thing, it's called VRV or Verve, and that one actually is turning out to be pretty good, too.
I mean, the problem is that Amazon is getting, like, a lot of the best anime that's been coming out this year is exclusively on Amazon, and it's so annoying.
That they're paying high dollar. They're paying high dollar to get the different anime exclusively on their site, and people on Crunchyroll are getting pissed off. They're getting upset, really, really bad.
Yeah.
I've seen comments of second seasons of different anime, and they're like, "Oh my god, why did you do that?" And Is Amazon available to a lot of other countries or not really?
It only came to Ireland last month, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Amazon is and is not really a worldwide company. It's more like a just America, and I think it's into Canada and Mexico mainly, and then everywhere else it's kind of no.
It's a lot of mainland continental Europe, but yeah, Ireland's kind of fairly new.
Right, yeah, I'm sure they're trying to expand and grow even further, but they're kind of silly with marketing a product like a subscription service or a streaming service, and when you look at the map or look at the different spreads where anime people are, where a lot of people are going to get into anime or are already into anime, they're all over the place. You got people in the Philippines, Japan, obviously. You got Australia, America, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, all over Europe, like everywhere. you know,
Yeah, but I mean, but the thing you have to remember also is that licenses are different in each country and each region. So Amazon may have it in our region, but not necessarily in
and that
Australia.
and that's like another thing too is if you have a company and you mainly focus on just one thing, like getting a full region license where you can just go anywhere, and then you're reaching out to all these different localized areas, you're gonna hit a better mark. You're gonna hit a better target than if you're, oh, we established in one spot and now we're kind of branching out and doing all these new things and we're hoping it works. So many people, I bet if I put a tweet right now and I asked people, did you know that Amazon had anime? I guarantee you, people would be like, wait, they stream anime? Majority of people are going to say that. Guaranteed. People know that you could buy DVDs on Amazon, you could buy merchandise on Amazon, but not stream anime on Amazon. Like, that doesn't seem like something that, you know, clicks when you say Amazon. Like, watching anime on Amazon.
I mean, Amazon is doing everything now. They're friggin' making grocery shops now. Like, I don't understand. They're just trying to take over the world at this point.
They're doing that, and they're also doing, I heard about regions that you can do a 1 hour delivery. You can order something, and in an hour, you can get it.
They have it in Atlanta.
They have it in Atlanta. They also are putting a few different bases in New Jersey, which I'm actually excited about, because then if I just want to get something, I'll have warehouses like right in my area. I could just go 1 hour, boom, and I get it, or 2 hour, whatever it is. But yeah, I figured we talked about a whole bunch of different things, went into a few different anime spread many categories, talked about different things that could get you into anime, what got us into anime. We've had all different backgrounds and stuff, and I think it was actually a very nice podcast. Nice introduction to those who have never watched anime before or who want to get people into anime. And I think this is where we're going to end it right now.
Sounds good.
All right. So
Cool.
Thank you guys for listening into this podcast. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below, what is a starter anime for somebody who's just getting into anime? You know, put your comments why and all that good stuff. Leave a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Hit that share button too. It helps me out. And as always, guys, deuces up.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah. I'm glad to be my first one. Hope there'll be more.
In the name of the moon, see you soon.
That's good.